Whomever is pursuing whom in this very moment, I intend to eat them.
In the penultimate episode of Hannibal, Gillian Anderson returns, and Mason Verger comes on a head-to-head collision with Will and Hannibal. Welcome to the top 5 moments from the episode, followed by the overall verdict.
Why did you tell Mason Verger I want to kill him?
I was curious what would happen.
Will confesses to Hannibal that he told Mason about wanting to kill him for his own curiosity. Hannibal then asks Will to close his eyes and imagine what he would want to happen.
Let's talk about Hannibal Lecter.
But I was under Hannibal's influence. What he did to you made that abundantly clear.
A friendly face returns as Dr. du Maurier appears to tell her side of the story about her past relations with Hannibal.
If you think you're about to catch Hannibal, that's because he wants you to think that. Don't fool yourself into thinking he's not in control of what's happening.
Mr. Verger wants your company. Please, come with us.
Mason would like both Hannibal and Will to attend a special occasion at his manor. Seriously? Mason only sent 4 guys for Hannibal? You gotta know that ain't gonna end well for at least one of them. The question was, with Will holding the knife, what would he do with it?
I realize that you probably need to get your rest. What happened to you?
Took a tumble in the pig pen. Broke my neck. Embarrassing, really.
After the brutality of his mutilation, Jack comes to question Mason on exactly what happened. He tells him it was just an accident as he tripped and fell in his pig pen. Safe to say, I don't think that Jack believed a single word of it in the slightest.
I've benefited greatly from Dr. Lecter's therapy. I'm still benefiting from it. I only hope that I may repay him one day.
Show me how Pablo would check the depth of a pig's fat. Show me on you.
If number 2 was the aftermath, number 1 was the deed itself. Gruesome scenes as Hannibal drugs up Mason and causes him to mutilate himself, as the vision of Mason Verger reaches the iconic portrayal of the character from the movies.
What are you feeding my dogs?
Just me.
My overall verdict for this week's episode of Hannibal is a full 10 out of 10. Easily for me one of my favourite and one of Hannibal's best episodes to date. First off, just wow. Just wow. I was not expecting us to get this far in the Mason storyline so suddenly. It makes sense and all, but I at least expected it to be in season 3. But now we have a mutilated Mason on our hands, who will now be out for some vengeance on Hannibal. That scene though was done brilliantly. The whole sequence was. Will didn't want Hannibal to go down via Mason and his thugs. He wanted to be the one to catch him, to be the one to outthink him and to beat him at his own game. So he freed Hannibal, and after being knocked out, he awoke to a surprise or two. The first one being Carlo, fed to the pigs and near enough torn in half, to then arrive home to find Mason feeding his dogs. But it wasn't just any old dog food he was feeding them. That to be topped off via his brutal neck break to leave Mason paralysed for the rest of his days. Gillian Anderson was a surprise and welcome return to Hannibal this week, after she reveals that it wasn't Hannibal that killed her past patient, it was herself that was manipulated by Hannibal to kill her patient. And Hannibal, so far at least, is guilty of only one thing, and that's influence. And that isn't good enough evidence to catch Hannibal. But he does have one weakness.
Hannibal can get lost in self-congratulation, whimsy. That will be how he will get caught.
The final episode next week is now set. The lure is ready, and Will is trying to get Hannibal to reveal himself to Jack. We know the inevitable fight scene is next week, but that makes it even more enthralling. How will Hannibal reveal himself, if he does at all? All we know is Jack is precariously balanced on life's tightrope for the finale. Could Jack be the lure in Will's plan? I guess we'll have to find out in the finale next week. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the review. And I'll see you next week.
Whenever feasible, one should always try to eat the root.
Free-range rude.